Mike, turn your games down.
I'm a movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's punching Nazis with me tonight?
I am Joe Butler, and I sure do love my big red hand.
I am Phoebe Stanton, and I too love the hell out of cats.
I'm Zach. Huge thanks from absolutely the best podcast of Work in Progress. And I can promise you two things. One, I'll always look this good. Two, I'll never give up on you. Ever.
And I'm Kyle, and believe it or not, I'm fireproof. You ain't.
Nice. I had that in my list.
And Phoebe, what are we talking about today?
10 years and a month after his comic debut, Guillermo del Toro gives us the first cinematic treatment for Adnan Rama. Summoned into the world by Rasputin in 1944, the being known as Hellboy is raised by the Trevor Brodenholm of the BPRD to be a force of good. Now, 60 years later, Rasputin and his cohorts are back to finish what they started, Ragnarok and the summoning of the godlike Ogdru Jihad. We are talking about the 2004 movie Hellboy.
Nice.
Which was,
good job.
This was your suggestion, like, a long time ago.
A year and a half or something ago.
It took me a little bit to get to them, yeah.
I mean, I suggest a lot of things. That's because I know a lot of weird niche things.
Yeah, you did. And then you suggested it, and then it won a Patreon poll.
I'm so happy about that.
Tied with Dick Tracy.
That's a different poll.
Yeah, no, this tie with Swamp Thing? The TV show?
Oh, a Swamp Thing, yes.
That's coming. That's being recorded in a couple weeks, yes.
Which I don't think you can watch anywhere anymore.
You can if you bought a Blu-ray of it.
Or watch it via other means.
Yes. But no, poor WB couldn't keep it on there because it might have cost them just a little bit of money for royalties, and they're just so poor.
Oh, no.
But don't worry, the CEO of WB Discovery, let's see, he made... This is harder than I thought it would be. Pick Google.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that Max slowly deletes things. Or they say they do. Like, I just watched The Outsider, and as far as I was concerned, that, Watchmen, and Chernobyl were all getting deleted. And they're supposedly deleting half of the Cartoon Network catalog in a little bit.
They're deleting Chernobyl?
They were supposed to have already deleted it. They were supposed to have deleted Lovecraft Country a while ago, but that's still on my list.
The poor guy only made $49.7 million in 2023, up from 26% from the prior year. Poor guy. No wonder you have to cut all this
that
stuff.
makes you poor.
It's tough out there, when you're ultra rich.
Timeline fucking sucks.
It does. No. Max has gotten rid of a lot of stuff. They're the worst of it. I know Disney Plus has done it too with Willow and a few other things probably, but Max is the worst where they're trying to scrub things that just they don't want nothing to exist.
To be fair, as far as I've heard, nobody was watching Willow.
Oh, and I watched it.
It's that and two other things that were going to get deleted, but as far as I know, one of them is at least still on because it was Willow, the Mighty Ducks TV show from like 2 years ago. And that Santa Claus's TV show.
That Santa Claus TV show that I heard is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You like Tim Allen, I guess.
The Mighty Ducks
I mean,
TV
it expands
show
on the lore and actually explains stuff.
is not good.
But I should do our memories, and I'll go first. I somehow, for some weird-ass reason, never saw this movie before. And I don't know why, because this is a Mike movie. It's a comic book movie. It has to do with the occult, and it has to do with punching Nazis. Why did even 2004 Mike, which would have been like 16, would have been interested in this movie? I have no idea why I've never seen this movie until today. No idea. So that's my history.
You have.
Zach, what is your history with this film?
I saw it in the theater opening weekend, which usually isn't my thing. It wasn't a very crowded theater, I remember, because I went with a friend of mine, and while we were waiting for the movie to start, who walked in but Dennis Miller and his son? This was in Santa Barbara, where I was living at the time. And this is also before Dennis Miller was like super right-wing and annoying. He was still pretty funny back then. Anyways, he came to our row, so I had to stand up and let him go by. And I was like so starstruck. I was like, hey, how's it going? And he just went, good. And then everybody kind of was focusing on him. Well, the movie hadn't started yet. Everybody's just kind of looking at him, and he's like, don't everybody fight over me. And then something happened where the movie, I forget if the sound was off or there was no picture. Something happened where we had to change theaters, and then he sat far away from me after that.
Oh,
But I technically saw this movie with Dennis Miller.
That's funny. I remember this guy.
Dennis Miller?
the firehouse guy, right?
Firehouse guy. You got? All right, sorry, nobody knows who Dennis Miller is. He was like the Weekend Update anchor person.
Oh,
in
this is
like
not Dennis Michael Miller from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I vaguely remember him in movies and stuff, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. I knew his stand up when I was in, early years of high school, and that was really funny. Now he's super annoying and just caters to the right, and I can't stand him anymore. But it's a shame.
I don't blame you at all.
But this was a fun story for me.
Oh, that's
I heard
cool.
Joe say the firehouse guy, and I'm like, is he talking about Dennis Leary?
I'm not Dennis. I think it was
yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah. That's someone else.
Yeah.
As far as
Also-
I know, that guy didn't turn out to be a complete total shit.
Actually, I think you're wrong.
Dennis Leary's pretty cool, I think, still.
Oh, okay. All right, then never mind.
I could be wrong, but I think...
I mean, he's on a new show recently. Saw the trailer for it on YouTube. We're not here for that.
And Phoebe, what is your history with this movie?
I don't remember if I saw this in theaters or not. That's the worst part, because this movie rules. I did see the second one in theaters, and I've seen just about all 6 of the Hellboy movies. The only one I'm missing is that one from last year.
Are you really missing it, though?
Yes. I
heard it's
actually
pretty okay.
support the 2019 one. It's the one that's closest to the comics besides one of the animated ones.
Kyle.
So this movie, 2004, I would have been 12 years old. This movie was right up 12-year-old me's alley. Badass guy punching Nazis, like you said. And I would have went and seen this in theaters with my grandfather at the time. He loved going to movies, so I saw all kinds of movies with him.
Did he enjoy Nazis being punched?
Yeah, he was a participant in World War II. He was stationed in the Pacific Theater, but yeah, he was down for some good old Nazi punching.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he was in
And Joe.
of course.
Oh, all right.
That's cool. I saw this. I saw this I didn't see it when it came out, but I saw it at a friend's house after it came out on DVD. It was whenever me and my friends were pretending that we were film buffs, and we tried to consume as much media as physically fucking possible. That's how I know a lot of weird fucking movies, especially because this is around the age where if it was 2004, I would have been like, I don't know how old I would have been.
No, I'm in the same boat. I was like, I graduated
Yeah.
in 06. That's kind of the way that you could say that, whatever year you graduated.
I graduated 2011. This would have been what was this, 2004? So that would have been
2004.
That would have been what, 7 years?
You would have been like
7 years, and if, let's say you're 18. Yeah.
Yeah. So because there's two. Whenever I saw movies with my sister, but my sister is really picky, so it went to a point to where if she didn't want to see it, I didn't get to go see it. But also there was a point to where it's later in life where it's like, okay, well, maybe my sister stopped being picky. Let's go see a movie. No, I have a boyfriend now, so I'm gonna go see the movie with my boyfriend. It's like, cool. I guess I'll just stay home and not go see a fucking movie.
I mean, you can go see a movie by yourself. That's always an option.
No. See, the joke is I went with my sister and my aunt and uncle. If that spot was taken, if she didn't want to go see a movie, none of us saw a movie. And then, and then if it was a point to where once they hit 14, it's like, oh, sister's got a boyfriend now. I'm being left home because now the movie, it is sister, her boyfriend, and then her parents, so they can watch them not be fucking weird.
Cool.
Never weird in a movie theater until I was much, much older.
Can't be weird around a parent.
Yeah, no, I wasn't with my parents. A long time after that. So I know this movie's based on the comic book, obviously. I have never read Hellboy. I don't think I ever will, because I just don't care. There's nothing against comics. I read a lot of comics, mainly ones that involve Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lately. But I don't know, this never grabbed me. Like, one thing I was very surprised, I didn't realize this movie took place originally in the 1940s and then jumps to modern day, which at the time was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Which it really works to do that. I mean, I forget how much I really enjoy movies set in World War II that aren't World War II movies. Like, I don't care for a lot of the good World War II movies out there. Like, Saving Private Ryan is a very good movie. I've seen it once. Once was enough. I won't watch it again unless I cover it. Like, but this is a movie where, since it's not real type things, I could easily do this again. Like, I love the idea of Hitler and the occult in the 1940s because he was into the occult.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God nothing happened out of it, but he was.
Because it's not real.
No. So there was none of this, but he was trying. He was trying to find artifacts and trying to figure out stuff.
Note to self, find more movies that are World War II and also sci-fi themed.
Iron Sky.
Oh, what's that?
And there's a zombie one.
Yeah, what's the zombie one?
Oh yeah, the zombie
Watch
one.
one day.
Dead Winter.
Overlord.
Dead Winter.
Okay.
I was thinking
I-
of Overlord, the more recent zombie one.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that one
Overlord's also.
existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's from 2017 or 18.
Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff because, like, this movie starts off with a freaking bang. Like, that opening scene with them on the island trying to stop, the experiment from happening. And the fact that Rasputin is the main villain in this movie, it's kind of hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, and that's something that's really interesting because this is predominantly based off of the first volume of the comic, which is Seed of Destruction. And in there, Rasputin dies like a bitch by the end. He just gets a spear thrown into his chest by Abe, of all people.
Oh.
It's awesome.
You know what's funny is I had about the opening. I said that it's a cool, quick origin story. No idea if it's consistent with the comics, but I suspect yes because Del Toro, and I also suspect that Phoebe will know.
So everything on the island is pretty much 1-to-1, except for there are some character changes. Like Cronin isn't a weird clockwork assassin man.
Oh,
He's
love
just
Cronin
a
in
scientist
this,
in a suit.
Okay, this is way better.
Yeah.
This is better, yeah.
And also doesn't become immortal. The whole thing with Rasputin's buddies is that they get cryogenically frozen.
I kind of I like them her being immortal. I think that's cool, but I also apparently have a thing for sexy blonde women as Nazis.
Yeah. Also, Rasputin doesn't die on the island. He goes to like the Arctic afterwards and chills out with a statue in meditative hibernation for 50 years.
Yeah, that scene is crazy when he gets like sucked into that portal, right? Because he's like literally before it, you see his skin like lava lamping off of him.
Scene.
It's so
Which
wild.
that still looks awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that like all a lot of the special effects, especially in that opening, like hold up pretty well.
Well, it's Guillermo del Toro. All of his movies, I think, till the end of time will hold up pretty well as well.
I don't know. I didn't like Crimson Peak all that much.
Oh, I feel like that was his comeback for me because I didn't like Pacific Rim.
Oh, I did, but I mean, even like Pan's Labyrinth will always be the best one. Still need to watch
so
Pinocchio though and Carnival Row.
No one's gonna mention the fish fucker movie. Okay.
Oh, I have to about that
Shape of
later.
Water.
The Shape of Water?
I should watch that.
Yeah.
At some point.
I wanted to see that. I never have.
I think it's a perfectly fine movie, but yeah, she does fuck a fish.
Movie
That's fine.
ends with him fucking a fish or her fucking a fish. So
And getting gills out of it. Look, we don't kink shame.
We've
That's
only
right.
covered one of his movies actually on this podcast so far. We did Blade 2 a few years ago.
Oh man, you got to do Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah,
you got to be on it.
have to.
Never seen Pan's Labyrinth actually.
Oh man,
How the hell? Oh my god.
Wow.
Fun story. I was actually about to rent it at a Redbox. I remember those things a long time ago, and instead I rented, I think, Stranger Than Fiction.
that's
Also
a good movie.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh.
you could have picked worse.
Well, to be fair, the DVD I don't think worked, so I did pick.
Oh,
Worse.
I-
so you did pick
I-
worse. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna say the most controversial thing I've ever said on this podcast, but I need y'all to hear me out.
Sure.
I don't like Pan's Labyrinth.
Well, you can
That's
be
fine.
the counterpoint when. that one's covered.
Maybe because but the thing is, it's a bad argument because I've never gotten past the opening of that movie. I've tried several times.
Just skip it then.
I watch the opening and it gets to like maybe 10 minutes and I've even done it high. I get 10 minutes and I'm just like I hate this. I don't know why.
It's Spanish Spirited Away. It starts off slow and then the supernatural hits.
I think the issue is that's in a different language, which is weird because I watch anime. I just don't know why I can't watch it.
Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with you?
If
yeah,
Spanish
it-
might be too close to what.
I think Spanish is too close to like because I'm familiar with Spanish, so it's fucking me up because it's like my brain's hearing it and I'm reading the subtitles and I'm like I should know this and it's pissing me off.
It's a different,
Let's
different
mute the
dialect of
movie.
Spanish, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Spanish, not Mexico Spanish.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Italian Spanish. It's not Mexico Spanish. Yeah.
You should just mute the movie. Then Mike would be so proud of you since he mutes
don't-
everything.
I was gonna say I don't watch movies mute, but I actually have, and I am at the moment as we're speaking. Are you surprised, Phoebe? Are you really surprised?
No, not anymore.
Shouldn't be.
I think it's interesting when you know the language and can read the subtitles. I know enough French to be able to tell, like this in the subtitles, like that's not really what they said. Like it's kind of the same meaning, but I think that's interesting. It is a
mean
bit
you
of a
watch-
distraction, but
High tension and went, wait, that's not what they meant.
I have seen that movie. I did not care for it.
I know.
I was so glad. I was so glad you guys ripped apart the ending of that movie, like right off the bat. It's so stupid.
To say. So
Go ahead.
one thing with Hellboy that really amused me early on. So I watched this movie completely wrong. Not because I'm
Okay.
stupid. So last night I'm watching it. I get 40 minutes into it. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm like, I'm tired. My wife fell asleep. I have a recording into a nap, and I'll watch this tomorrow morning. And then unfortunately, I was way busier than I thought I would be, and I was watching this movie in 3-minute increments for a good chunk of time, and getting really irritated because I didn't want to stop watching it. But priorities came up,
What in
and
the world?
you know, so.
It's okay, Mike. It's okay, Mike. Somehow, I also watched this wrong because I'm an idiot, and y'all already know about it because I posted it in the chat. We came home, and for some reason, only the second movie is free. And so my goofy ass husband went, "We gotta watch Hellboy. Let's watch Hellboy 2." And I'm like, "Dude, these are very two different movies, babe." And he's like, "Oh, it's whatever." So I watched Hellboy 2, and somehow the gods heard me, and my friend put Hellboy 1 on his movie sharing website. So then we watched Hellboy 1. I'm like, "See, it's a very different movie." And he's like, "Oh, so it is."
I mean, the two didn't give it away. It's a different movie.
No. Like, I mean, like in everything. 2's like production value is a lot lower. 2's like plot's super different. I think it's a little more. I also think it's a little more jokey and hokey. In
Yeah,
this
well,
movie.
I don't really like 2.
So it doesn't help that 2 isn't based off of anything. It's its own
Oh.
complete story that Guillermo del Toro made up.
That seems, but there's so many comics. I'm assuming why not just based it on the comic?
Well, I was gonna say one of the animated movies is actually the second volume of the comic, almost verbatim.
Okay, so watch that after this.
Yeah,
Okay.
watch Iron and Blood.
I'll maybe check it out. Oh, and I do want to kind of talk about some of the actors that are in here. So we talked a little about the director. The main character, Ron Perlman, plays Hellboy, and he does a good job in makeup.
Yeah, he's
fantastic.
I
love-
love Hellboy.
Yeah, I love Ron Perlman. He's great.
He's a
This
really
is
good,
good makeup
actor.
too. Speaking of the makeup, the
It is
the
really
muscle
good.
suit it sells it. I mean, I'm sure
Doesn't look fake.
it just enhances his build, but he
Yeah.
has a suit on.
But everything looks good. He looks good. The guy that plays Abe looks like everything looks
Oh, yeah.
very
It's Doug
believable.
Jones.
Yeah, it's Doug Jones, and voiced by David Hyde Pierce, who refused to take a credit for it. So it's completely uncredited voice performance by David Hyde Pierce because he didn't want to overshadow Doug Jones's performance.
And if you want to see Doug Jones without makeup, he's one of the inmates in the psychiatric hospital.
So
Oh,
they play
really?
Charles
Interesting.
Selma Blair's character.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Liz.
That's cool.
That is pretty sweet.
I did not know. I kind of know who. I barely even knew anything about this movie or who that guy was. But I mean, it has a very good beginning. It really does grab you, and the whole like it shows like they win, but then they also like the way Hellboy like they just find like this little baby demon.
Mhm.
It's cute. It's a very cute opening, and it grabbed my attention.
Yeah, what I really like about this setup is, he's I don't know if he's supposed to be the devil's son or just a demon or what, but it's very clear that he looks like he's supposed to be evil. But
I can go into that, but
Okay.
it's weird.
I was just going to say, I like it because it's nurture versus nature, right? And he's raised to be good.
So in the comics, they don't explain until a lot later. He's actually a Cambion. He's half human, half demon. His father is Aziel, and then his mom is actually a witch descendant of King Arthur Pendragon. So Hellboy is also the rightful heir to England and the owner of Excalibur.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Also in the comics, he does not eat baby Roos, and there's nothing about cats, but he does like pancakes, like the scene where all the pancakes are there.
Mm-hmm.
That is accurate, but only for a single issue where all the demons of hell are watching him about to eat pancakes, and he loves them so much, and they're just like, oh man, the child is doomed. Because pancakes are supposed to be the most angelic food ever, and the fact that he likes them, it's just like, well, fuck, I guess he's not a demon like us.
That's funny.
That's
I
weird.
like
Okay.
that he likes cats so much.
I do too.
That's because cats are great.
Yes.
Cats are good.
Cats rule, dogs drool.
The only thing I know from Hellboy is the memes where he's like, where they're like, "Is that a monkey?" And he goes, "It's got a gun." And the monkey
That is
just goes,
actually in the comic.
And then I think it's Hellboy where like the giraffe's head explodes. Am I wrong?
No, that's a different comic.
And then the other scene where they're fighting a monster and it's growling at them, and he goes, "Well, maybe he wants something. What's your name?" And it's still growling, and he goes, "Daryl." And then Hellboy lowers his gun. He goes, "Hi, Daryl. I'm Hellboy."
I think that's accurate. Because the stuff he has a catchphrase in the comic. It's the "aw crap."
Yes, I love that.
Like the "aw crap" that gets said so much in the movie. That's accurate.
Great.
Oh.
I have a lot of notes for differences between the comic and the movie. Like
I want to hear them all.
in the comic universe, the BPRD is well known. Like everybody just accepts the supernatural happens. They're not hiding Hellboy in a bunker or anything. He just walks around town.
I'm fine with them hiding them because it makes sense, and I think that's easier for a movie, for the movie audience to buy into it.
I agree. I also like the misdirect when Jeffrey Tambor is on whatever show denying the existence of the Bureau of Paranormal Defense, but then like he's in charge of it.
Yeah, Thomas
Really?
Manning. You can just say Larry King. It's supposed to be like a Larry King type show.
Yeah, he says it doesn't exist, and the next scene they cut to, it types out Bureau. You're like, all right, that's great.
Yeah.
And then they go, I don't know if you
that would be our government.
Go to floor 51, which I thought was a pretty cool nod too.
Yep.
When he's going to see Hellboy.
Yeah, actually in the commentary, Del Toro was like, "Oh, nobody gets this reference." I was like, "Really?" Because I got it.
Yeah, I thought
In
it
Area 51?
pretty obvious. Yeah,
How do you not
super-
get that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know the country tried to act like Area 51 isn't real. There's no base out here until like the 80s or so, but
That's because some president went on television saying, "Oh, I want to tell you guys what's in there, but I actively can't." And he was like ruled. Some of his stances when he got ruled in were that he was going to tell people what was in there. So what the fuck is in there that he goes, I can't. I literally can't.
Maybe he just doesn't know, and therefore
Or
can't.
it's something so secret that even the Secret Service was just like, "Mr. President, we work for you, but we will put a bullet in you. Don't tell
In
people."
I've done it
Minecraft.
before.
I mean, I can tell you a few things they were doing at Area 51 has been declassified because I know too much. Like a lot of the stealth bombers and the stealth stuff was done there. There also was a lawsuit there to do with a guy said that whatever the material they used for the stealth ships poisoned him and gave him cancer. But unfortunately for him, a judge ruled that it was in the nature of national security, and that was the end of that.
Sir, Mr. Albertin is saying too much information. Take him out.
Hey, it was on a documentary on Disney Plus. Because I go through my documentary phases.
Oh, did you see they had I kind of want to watch it. Me and my husband saw it the other day. It's a documentary for Jerry Springer.
Oh, that's actually
really?
good.
Ooh.
Yes, it's 2 episodes. It's worth watching.
All right.
Oh, I have a question, Phoebe.
Mm-hmm.
So in the movie, they mentioned that even though he's like 60, he ages like a dog. Is that also in the comic?
Oh, yeah. He still looks super young.
Okay.
He aged like a normal person up to a certain point, because in the 50s, he looks like a teenage kid. But once he hits around the 20 to 30s mark, that's when he just completely stops aging.
That's why
because it
I'm
makes a
always
better
look that
comic.
good.
Yeah, there are no old people demons in the comic.
That's fair, Ben.
I mean, it works. I also want to talk, like, Abe's character is so fucking good in this, too. Like, the makeup and everything. Everything with the makeup is just on point.
Oh, yeah, the eyes look great still.
And I like it when he's out of the water for a long time, he puts like these little, like, I don't even know, they're almost like goggles, but on his gills, and they're filled with water, so he can breathe that way. I think that's a nice touch.
That's kind of accurate. He can stand up to a week without having to go in water. He'll just slowly kind of shrivel up like a fish.
Mhm.
The whole sixth sense touch things, oh my god, a Brudenholm, you have cancer thing, that's completely new. He just has normal people shit. He has a healing factor, but that's kind of just because he's a monster in general. But for the most part, he's just a fish man.
Does he like rotten eggs in the comics?
No, he can eat whatever.
I mean,
think-
in this, he can eat whatever, I think, too. He just likes rotten eggs for some weird reason.
There's no affinity for rotten eggs. That's more of like I think it was just to add a little bit of more monster shit to him because he is a fish person.
Yeah.
And then Guillermo del Toro went, "Man, I made a really good fish man for this movie. I should use it again, but for a sexy woman movie."
It's fine.
I had the same thought. I was like, is this where he got the idea, where for a deaf woman to fuck a fish man? But that idea came to him much later. I guess it was inspired more by the creature from the Black Lagoon.
True.
Also, One thing I also love just about Hellboy in general, and it goes into just type of shit I'm into personally too, because Mike mentioned he's like, I can't believe I never watched this. Several things about this movie that I love that we'll get into later. The idea of him being a demon, but him being the good guy. I'm always a slut for evil person being good and doing good things.
Yeah,
Totally.
I like that. too.
Yeah.
That's always a good feel. Like the show Lucifer. Holy shit.
I didn't watch that actually. When people talk about it, I heard
You should watch that show. It's fucking fantastic.
Lucifer and Preacher are both on my.
Preacher's fucking great too.
But the other thing too is I'm always a slut for big revolvers. This Vatcha Stampede. If I had a nickel for every cool red guy with a revolver, I'd have a handful of nickels.
I do like the big revolver, and I do like that he isn't using regular bullets. I do also have a thing for that, like Outlaw Star. I've always appreciated. He has like his special caster shells. God, I love that damn shell. But
I also like that he calls it the Samaritan.
Yep.
Yeah, and he makes his own bullets that are filled with cloves, garlic, holy water, silver shavings. It's just like, am I going to have to fight something today? Fuck it, this bullet will do something.
He's pretty like liberal
I do like
with the shots that he takes too. Like the first time he fights a monster, I'm like, man, you barely even aim that thing. He's like, yeah, fire and forget, baby. Got big bullets.
yeah, like
They'll hit something.
aim a little better. I do like how much damage the bullets do, though. You just see like the freaking like pillars just coming apart from what he's shooting.
They are giant bullets.
They are big
Yeah.
ass bullets.
So it was cool. One little scene where I knew this movie was for me is early on when they introduced what the hell's the guy's name? The handler guy, essentially.
Myers, who is
Myers.
completely brand new.
But he's the audience surrogate, essentially, is what he's supposed to be, and I'm fine with that. I think
So-
he works well.
Yeah.
Can I say something really funny?
Please.
Actually, that's a spoiler for the second movie.
That's
Yeah, whatever.
came
So
out,
Myers is not in the second movie, and the reason specifically is that, and I quote, in universe, he's on a mission in Antarctica. Guillermo del Toro at this point was trying to make a Mountains of Madness movie.
Oh, he
Oh,
still is, right?
I mean, the budget would be extra high because last time I heard he wanted to use 3D and have multiple layers of 3D to try and portray the non-Euclidean geometry, so each scene would be like $1 billion.
god
Yeah,
damn.
that's not going to happen.
No, it will not.
But when Myers is walking in the building and he's like, oh yeah, like the guy's like, oh yeah, the Cold War ended in 1958 when Hitler died. He's like,
Oh yeah.
Hitler died in 1945, and the doctor just laughs. Says, okay,
He's like, did he now?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that also was a big rumor for a long time that Hitler survived and was like around until the 50s.
Good old boys of Brazil.
Yeah, Argentina, like they thought, because some Nazis ran away, but also the other issue is that the Russians got to Hitler's body first, and they don't believe that the Russians actually found him, and they also won't let them identify the body to make sure whether it's Hitler or not. So
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing too. They were supposed to, in history, let them identify, or let the Americans or somebody else identify the grave because they have the remains, but then at the last minute they changed their mind.
Huh, I wonder why.
Because they didn't want them to prove them wrong. I mean, my guess is they don't want to be proven wrong, is my guess. Because I think, might have been the Putin era already. That fucker's been around for a long ass time. So, I can't remember, but that's neither here nor there. But, just the third character of this group, because you have Hellboy, and then you have, what is her name? Selma Blair's character?
Liz.
Liz Sherman.
I like Selma Blair. I haven't seen her in a lot of movies, because I apparently don't watch her movies, but I liked her in
I
this.
might be misremembering, but I think she was unfortunately one of the people branded as like unreasonable or difficult to work with when you know she had been treated like shit. And I could be misremembering, but I think that might have been it.
Okay.
Be surprising. She does have
I suppose
that,
like a good
RBF look to her too.
Yeah.
RBF look.
The resting
bitch face.
Oh.
Okay, now I know why I've never seen
I have
her
RBF.
in many movies, because she did a bunch of like just random teenage movies that I wouldn't have watched. I do like some rom-coms, but they're not the ones that I like or ever been introduced
She's in
to.
Legally Blonde.
Yeah, she's
there's
like
It's a good movie.
yeah, it is. She's the Vivian who steals her boyfriend at the very beginning of the movie.
She's in the new DuckTales.
That's who.
Also awesome.
She's a character named Witch Hazel.
Okay.
Oh, she's an episode of Xena. That's why I recognize her, probably. I watched a lot of Xena at one time in my life
Why?
because I like Xena. And I like Greek mythology a lot.
Xena is
A,
Greek mythology.
a lot. I watched all of I really liked Hercules and Xena, but I don't like Hercules anymore because I thought Kevin Sorbo was an idiot. So
Yeah.
I was really upset when he turned out to be an idiot. I'm like, man, I wanted to meet you, and now I'm like, I don't want to meet you. I'm not going to pay to meet you because you're a.
Okay, so I misremembered it. That nothing like that happened to her that I could find on quick glance. She has worked steadily, actually. It's just stuff that I haven't seen.
Okay.
She does
should
have
see Mom and Dad.
multiple sclerosis, I think it was.
Oh, that's a bad.
Oh shit.
Or was it muscular dystrophy? Where was that?
Both of them are bad diseases. I can tell you that much.
Multiple sclerosis, yeah. But she's still working.
She does good in this movie. I thought she did a really good job, kind of just playing, her character. Like I like how she is in this movie. I think she makes a good love interest. It isn't too much. She isn't like they don't play her overly sexy, which is also nice too.
Yeah, I agree.
I like when movies don't make women like that. Like it's nice. I mean, sometimes sure it can fit the theme or what you're going for, but I appreciate when movies don't do it when they don't need to.
Well, okay, so you say that movies love adding unnecessary romances because they're not together in the comic.
They're not really together in this either.
He does kiss her near the end, I think. Yeah, he kisses her at the end of the movie.
They are a full couple in the second movie. That is a major plot point.
That might be partly why I didn't like the second one. I don't like when sorry, what?
I was saying Myers is all sad when they kiss at the end. He thought.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't like it when he was going after her.
Yeah, that whole scene was great though, with him, Hellboy, and the kid, and
yes,
that little moment is awesome.
Throwing the rock at him.
Yep.
Taking advice from you. You're 9.
That's a really cute scene. And that's just like what a kid would be. Like if I was a 9-year-old kid and I met Hellboy, I'd be the same way. 37-year-old Mike might be like, what the fuck? But 9-year-old Mike would be like, wow, cool. Just when you're a child, you're going to be more open to things. I think that's a really touching scene. Like, I didn't have any issues with this movie.
It's a really good movie.
I didn't have any actual issues. I had some nitpicks. So, like, there was actually one thing we were talking about Liz. She does the thing with the rubber band on her wrist. Like, I don't know if that's some sort of self-flagellation or what. And I thought that was weird. I thought she was like, that's what the therapist taught me to do. And I was like, why would a therapist teach you to do that? But apparently...
That actually is a thing.
Yeah, well, and apparently Guillermo del Toro volunteered in a mental institution at one point, and they were understaffed, and that was a trick that they taught some of the, not inmates, but patients there.
Residents.
What to do. Residents, there you go. So he took it from real life, so I can't argue with that.
I mean, maybe it's a way to help stimulate something that works in your brain. Like
it's to help you keep. The last time I checked, it was to help you keep grounded. Because if you don't know what's real or not, it snaps you back into reality.
Oh,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
I used to watch a show called Evil, which ended last year, and there's a bit where one of the main characters has a sleep paralysis demon, and she does certain things in order to keep herself aware of what's the dream world and what's the waking world, so a rubber band could help with that.
Oh.
Yeah.
She doesn't spin a little top and see if it stops or not?
Oh my god.
No, she does really... I've seen some of that show. It's really interesting how... Weird topic to go off of. But it's really interesting because it goes from her like writing stuff on the ceiling because you can't read in your dreams. And I think the main way... Because I think basically the demon's working against her. It ends up going to where she's like, oh, I figured out the way the demon cheats is that it knows things about me no one else knows. So obviously, or is it lie? I don't remember which way it is, Phoebe.
It does both. It does tell a lot of the truth stuff, but then it'll make shit up in order to, oh, you look at your friends. Oh, aren't you gonna fuck the priest? Yada yada blah blah.
Okay.
Evil's a great show. Okay, watch it.
Okay. No, I've seen it on somewhere, and I was thinking about it because I remember you talked about it a bunch since we met. So,
did you also, Joe? I think it was said this. Did you also learn that you can't read in dreams from Batman the Animated Series?
Yes, I also learned that from Batman.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Animated series?
I totally remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never ever looked to see if that was true or not. I don't know if I've ever read in a dream.
I can't remember dreams, and I don't want to remember dreams. Like I do vaguely remember my dream from last night where I thought I was at FedEx again, and for some reason I was all freaking out trying to get somebody's package shipped in time for it to be picked up the same night. Don't know why I was having that dream. I was like, I haven't worked there in like 4 years. What the hell? 3 years, whatever the hell. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm
trying to draw you back in, Mike.
It's a lot of weird cognitive stuff where people have figured out how to lucid dream. I know one of the things that I've seen too is wearing a colored bracelet that you recognize every day. So if you ever worry that you're in a nightmare or not, you look at your wrist, and I think your mind can't also fathom what you remember it. So obviously, if you have like a bracelet that's like red, blue, green, red, blue, green, if you were to look at it in the dream, it would be different colors.
Yeah, there's
Why
a
how would
lot
you
of
bracelet that has
remember?
words on it?
there's a lot of like tricks and stuff like that. So have you ever seen the movie Waking Life? That movie is literally all about lucid dreaming, and so like all the like tricks, like light switches don't work, and like time doesn't change, and like how to, and like kind of the whole premise of the movie is that like the main guy taking through it, like trying to figure out if he's like dreaming or awake, or like figuring out how you lucid dream. It's wild.
Okay.
It's a really cool film.
Dreaming is wild. I always think of Sandman now, unfortunately. Anytime dreams come up, my brain goes right to Sandman. But
Good.
well, my cat is named Morpheus, that I just adopted. So,
New
Nice.
cat.
new little kitty, whoever the hell he is. Thankfully, he's not trying to eat my food. But I also want to talk about, because this movie kind of has, it has one villain of Rasputin who comes back early in the movie after he's killed in Nazi Germany. You end up seeing him back because he's resurrected by the sexy blonde evil Nazi woman, which is a trope apparently, because I can think of 2 movies that have a sexy blonde Nazi woman.
Okay,
So,
what's the other one?
Last
Indiana
Crusade.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yes. She's
I
hot.
knew
okay?
exactly what you were talking about.
That woman is a trap. And she's also evil as fuck, and I think she gets murdered.
How did
terribly.
you know she talks in her sleep?
I love that. I need to rewatch those original other 2 that I haven't seen yet for this. Well, I've seen, but for this podcast, I can skip the 4th. But
Sorry, have you not seen the first one?
I've covered the first one. I've seen
Oh,
it.
okay.
I saw it in theaters, actually. I got the chance a couple years ago to go see it. My
Yes,
wife
yes.
was all upset because she thought she wanted to see Temple of Doom, and it wasn't Temple of Doom. And she's like, oh, it's not the one I like. And I'm like, this is the best one.
It is the best one.
Oh,
And
God.
I saw it in the theater then too. And I went with a friend who had never seen it before, and I was worried that maybe like not growing up with it, maybe he wouldn't like it as much. Thought it was great. We both loved it. Held up for me. It was awesome to see it in the theater.
But with the villains, I think it works well having Rasputin as one side of the villain, and then you also have the monster with Samuel, the demon that keeps reproducing and doesn't die. I think that works, so you have your creature aspect, you have your bad guy necromancer, and then also the clockwork assassin guy. I think all that
Cronin.
works really well to give a nice wide variety of cast of villains for this
Yeah,
movie.
I
agree.
really like this version of Cronin, even if he is different, because
so good.
he's such a weird. And when they finally take off the suit, holy
Yes.
crap, the
Oh,
design.
man. Yeah.
Yes,
he's
it's really good.
scary looking.
He's they say he's addicted to
Search.
essentially self-mutilation, I guess, but like
Yeah.
he's got no eyelids, no lips.
But
It's
what would be the
so
benefit
creepy.
of not having lips or eyelids?
There's no benefit. He's just like
Okay.
you're trying to think about it as a sane, rational person.
Like,
You are correct. Like I have said before that if I could get
Imagine-
cybernetics, I would.
Imagine if we got the crossover where Cronin opened the box.
Are you talking about Box and Kingdom Hearts?
I'm talking about Hellraiser.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Good old
That makes
Lament
more sense.
configuration. Imagine if Rasputin got his hands on that.
that's funny you mentioned that too. When
well,
he
he-
kills him at the end, he's like, "Good night, Hellraiser." And he's impaled. That's so good.
That's
yeah.
funny.
The Cronin's fate in this movie is kind of awful because he's immortal, right? So he's just stuck impaled on these spikes under this heavy ass gear for
Well,
eternity.
Until his gears stop turning.
So he will eventually stop, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he'll eventually stop.
Hellboy's father, or whatever you want to call it, he's kind of he's examining the body, and he takes the thing out of Cronin's chest. So how is he still moving? If that was
Because he pretty much just set himself on a timer, and that was the alarm going off.
Okay.
Oh, okay. When
wasn't
you
the other
see
big
him laying there dead and they take his body, I'm like, well, that's 100%, on purpose. Like, he's not dead.
Right.
Like, it was a trap. I'm surprised they fell for it. So,
Movie's got a
point.
movie.
yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. It's a really good scene when he gets back up and he's in their office and the doctor's like, and, the doctor knows he's going to die and then Rasputin's like, I'll make it quick. That's a really good scene, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that in the comic. Some light to heavy logic leaps because it's all based off of campy B-movie style stuff. Like a lot of the comic, Hellboy drinks with ghosts.
That's funny.
and so what happened to the room? It hasn't been a room for 80 years, but I was just drinking with a ghost, and this happens a lot, and it's just accept it. Just have fun with the fact that, Hellboy's having a beer with some people from the 1960s.
I think that's cool because he is a supernatural creature and he is from hell, so it makes sense that he'd be able to see ghosts and other beings like that. Like the scene when he brings up the dead body and starts talking to him and has him become like a guide.
Like an Yvonne, go that way, red monkey.
Yes, I love that. That's a really, really great part of this
If I had
movie.
legs, I'd kick your ass.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
He's so good.
I have one question, though, about that part. He needed the corpse to find Rasputin's mausoleum, right?
Yeah.
But doesn't Rasputin want to be found so that he can use Hellboy's key arm to open the dimension or whatever, right?
Yeah, but we don't want to make it too easy because then it'll be way too obvious. Trap.
Yeah, but like
it will bring even more agents.
Like they first walk in and the FBI guy's like, "Oh, we'll make a grid," and then when they finally find it, it's literally the biggest mausoleum in the whole cemetery. It's like, okay, you couldn't have guessed that. Come on now.
I've also always been a sucker for the whole story of Rasputin, how they poisoned him and shot him and he died of drowning.
Oh yeah.
I love that true story. Like I don't know how much is actually true now when you think about like the people that were actually doing the investigation and the autopsy, but like it always makes me wonder.
I like to think it's true. It's more fun that way.
I mean, I think it is true, honestly. Like, but as I'm older, I'm like, I wonder.
I don't know. He's probably
it seems to be pretty accepted as fact that he was all these things and that the drowning is what killed him. But I don't know. It's just a really interesting idea of that guy.
Nah, he was just a simple man from Russia long ago.
If I had a nickel for every time Rasputin was the villain for a really weird, hokey movie, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
What's the other one?
I'm thinking 3.
Mine is this one, and he's also the villain, I think, for The Kingsman.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
The
I
prequel
haven't seen
movie. But there's also Anastasia.
Yeah.
I was thinking
fuck.
Anastasia.
Okay, I didn't think of 3. Never mind, it's 3 nickels.
Anastasia makes sense because that's when he was around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
Is he in Shadowhearts?
I don't know.
God, I don't know. I mean, he's in fucking Doctor Who. It turns out he's the master or some weird
He's also in Doctor
Jodie
Who.
Whittaker sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
They have
we
Rasputin dance the Rasputin dance.
We haven't addressed the fact that he gets revived by rising out of a pool of blood. Which
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
a great scene.
awesome. Yeah, it's so cool.
Again, comic accurate, just random magic bullshit. Like I said, in the comic, he's just hanging out in Antarctica with a statue that turns out to be one of the Audrey Jihad's children.
Bless you.
Oh, but that part, like when they throw down the gold and the scientist in front picks it up and he realizes it's Nazi gold and he gets stabbed, like I think that is also really awesome because a lot of that Nazi gold went missing supposedly over the years. They never did find all the gold that the Nazis had.
Then he comes back with no eyeballs because, haha, Lovecraftian horror, we don't need to see.
Right, that's why he's wearing the sunglasses, right?
Yeah, and then he gets the fake eyes, which may or may not work anyway because he's so, cosmic horror-y, magic-y. He just makes these fake eyeballs work.
Okay.
Also, if anyone ever offers you Nazi gold, the first instinct is to kill them immediately because only Nazis carry Nazi gold.
But then you'll be carrying it.
I think to be fair now, they never. I don't think they ever did find everything, but they'll never figure out what the hell. Whatever's left of it's gone at this point.
So,
but I followed way too much. I know a lot of random shit about World War II.
I'm doing this pretty frequently, and I apologize. Phoebe, does the dad also die in the comic?
Yes, but not of cancer or of Cronin stabbing him in the back. He just dies of a frog monster in the first volume. He doesn't even have cancer in the comic. That was just
weird.
Add some weight to the situation, I guess.
I think it works though.
Oh, it absolutely worked.
Well, that was how he tie in Myers, right? Because he knows he's going to die. So that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And despite being, a movie-only character, Myers fucking rules.
Oh, he's good in this.
Yeah,
he fits for what he's there for, I think, really good, too.
I mean,
I
don't have many notes left, but, one of them is Manning is completely different in the comic. Because in here, he's just, this douchebag goes on the TV and... I want this creature, pointing at Hellboy, in a cage. In the comic, he's actually really supportive of his agents, even the monster relative ones. he would rather side with them than with his superiors and wants to make their days better. But at the end of the day, he does have to take orders from somebody who's higher than him. And it does not work out after a point.
I didn't really like the whole I'm in charge bit thing when they went on the mission to Rasputin's grave. Like, it was kind of funny, but it was like, how you just saw this guy raise someone from the dead, and you're like, nah, man, I know more about this than you. I'm taking the lead. Like, no shot. This is his.
I'm gonna say comic spoiler because it helps define how much his character changes. So in here, you can feel like if he had to put a bomb on Hellboy, he would just instantly put a bomb on Hellboy. He would not care because Demon Man. In the comic, his superiors tell him to put a bomb inside of one of their new agents who's a homunculus. And when Hellboy finds out, he's just like, what the fuck, man? And he's like, look, I literally had my hands tied. And if I didn't do it, which I hate that I did it, somebody else would have taken over and they would have been far worse. And you know that. And Hellboy gets sick of all this bureaucratic bullshit and all these inner workings, and he just quits. And the rest of his part of the comic universe is him on his own.
Sounds cool.
Mm.
I'm a little bit more interested now in the comics. I probably won't read them, like I said earlier, but I'm interested a little bit.
I was going to say, I also am running out of notes, which is fine, but I did want to mention a couple of things. One, I love it at the end when he's growing his horns back, and then he gets like the crown of fire.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then he like breaks him off and stabs Rasputin with one of them. That was a nice touch.
That's a good scene.
Yeah.
This movie had a lot of good scenes. I mean,
Yeah.
Kind of surprised me.
By the way, that's what a
space scene.
non-Rama actually means.
Sorry,
what were you going to say, Kyle?
Anangun Rama means what?
So Anun Rama actually does get explained in the comics. It stands for he who wears the crown of flames.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Which one's Crown of Flames? Rama?
Yeah, so Volume 4, he permanently loses the crown. And it's like one of my favorite bits in comic history because when he loses it, this other demon gets empowered. And Hellboy almost dies, goes to a weird afterlife hallucination, but not hallucination. And this person's talking to him. And it's like, what's your name? And he's like, Ananun Rama. That's what they keep calling me. It's just like, do you even know what that means? It means he who wears the crown of flame. Is that who you are? And he thinks back to how a couple minutes ago the demon took his invisible crown. He's like, no. And it's like, cool. So who are you? And what are you going to do about it?
It's pretty cool.
Because a lot of the comic has to do with what is destiny? Can you prevent destiny? Does destiny mean what you actually think it means?
Now you might have me reading it.
Yeah, do it. It's so good.
I'm not good with reading, though.
Well, you start with A, and then you go to B.
I'm not
following you.
I'm not good with comics either, or I'm not good with reading either. That's why I read comics.
I mean, there's definitely some comics and like graphic novels that I will rip through, but it's like few and far between. Obviously, there's so many things I would pick up, and I'm just like I can't get through this. But maybe I'll pick up Hellboy. We'll see.
You could buy it all digitally. I mean, not by the time you hear this episode, but on Humble Bundle, as of the moment of this recording, 111, the whole bundle on Humble Bundle for $38. But that's a bit.
I mean,
I will open a
thousands
web
upon
page.
thousands of dollars of comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's other ways. So I don't buy it.
Humble Bundle has.
I still kick myself. They had a Power Rangers and a Turtles combo, and I should have bought those, and I didn't. I'm not mad at myself because I read comics other ways, so I didn't bother. But I'm kind of like, yeah, I should have did it anyway. So another thing, I was almost bummed with this movie, but then they didn't do it, or they did what I wanted. When you have him fight, when you have Hellboy fighting all the different Samuel things, and I thought they were gonna do nothing with Selma Blair's character. I thought they were just gonna let her be, and then all of a sudden they have her just light on fire and just fry everybody. I'm like, thank you, movie. I would have been upset if she didn't get a scene.
Yes,
of course.
And
She is that strong.
Yeah, that was one of my nitpicks. Was I guess she has fireproof clothing on.
Well, we don't know that because when we wake back up, she's naked under the sheet on the like whatever.
Did I?
Oh, yes, that is true.
Did I miss something?
Because she and like that. That's like
I saw her.
That's hinted at earlier that she always blacks out after she like has her little explosion thing. And so like then
After
that's,
she
like,
kills 4 kids who threw rocks at her.
yeah, so that's like the opportunity that Rasputin
Yeah, that's
has to
fine.
capture them all, which, I mean, clearly he takes it. So
Okay, I felt like I missed a scene because I saw that and then I must have looked away or something. The next thing I know, they were all captured. I was really confused.
no, it just cuts from explosion to
Okay, that wasn't just
they're
me.
captured.
Oh, I forgot that Abe has a scene too where he goes underwater to fight one of the Samuel things or go after it or something in the
Oh,
subway.
that was the one jump
Yeah, they do
scare that got me in this movie when it first swims by. Whew.
Yeah, that's good.
But they give everybody a chance to stand out, which is good.
Yeah, I know it
Totally,
sounds. I know it sounds relatively goofy. This is pretty much a horror movie, right?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I
Comedy, action, horror.
Horror adjacent, yeah, because
Team Gremlins is considered a
Yeah,
horror movie.
horror adjacent works. I like that.
I count it like a pulpy camp serial thing, you know, kind of like The Phantom or Flash Gordon back in the day.
It doesn't tell me what Wiki says it is, because sometimes Wikipedia will say what a movie, like what genre it is, or Amazon will say sometimes like, oh, this is a horror comedy, like Gremlins is a horror comedy. I'm not sure what this falls under.
It just says superhero film.
IMDb
Oh.
Yeah,
is dark
this is
fantasy, steampunk, superhero, action, horror, adventure, fantasy.
Steampunk. I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
I really like the steampunk
Yeah.
elements in this a lot. Yeah. And like at the beginning, actually, sorry to bring us all the way back to the beginning.
No, it's fine.
When Rasputin is opening up that dimensional portal, it looks like he has vacuum tubes on the tips of all the fingers of that whatever glove he is
Yes.
using.
Yeah.
So cool.
It is really cool.
It's supposed to be a man-made version of Hellboy's glove.
Oh,
Doom.
that's cool.
that makes sense.
I didn't even think about that, but that does make sense. So I didn't like the whole idea was that he needed Hellboy to open up the portal. I mean, also, why was he he was shooting the beam that he's trying to shoot into the moon, correct? And the moon was like going to bring down monsters or something.
It's trying to bring. Okay, so the main antagonist of the comic is mostly Rasputin, but working underneath that thing called the Agdru Jihad, which is complicated, but just think Lovecraftian outer god in the comics. It is explained what it is, and it's also explained what Hellboy's right hand actually is.
Key, right?
They're just
I mean, it is a key, but it's also this would be going more into comics than anything.
That's fine.
So,
Yeah.
okay, in the comic universe, if you read your Bible or ever went to Christian school, there used to be watcher angels on Earth that were supposed to, watch out for the life that God was going to put. And so the 30 watcher angels are just waiting and waiting and waiting, and they get really bored and try to make their own life with blackjack and hookers, and they accidentally screw up, and that's the Agdru Jihad.
Oh.
Then,
okay.
because of that, they get, cast out, and they become mortal. And they're the first race of humans, because we're actually the second generation of humans. The first were the angels. And the king of the first race of humans, when they made, an Atlantis-type kingdom, his right hand got cut off. So Hellboy's right hand is actually an angel hand.
Oh, okay. I think that's cool.
And the
That's
reason why it's
cool.
red is because it's stained with, all this blood.
Uh-huh. That's really cool. I do like how they just call it the right hand of doom in this, though.
Yeah,
Cool.
and that's why it's
a little
a
easier.
key, because it is actually
Yeah.
the hand that made the Agdru Jihad.
That's cool.
Oh, that's okay. That makes more sense. I mean, I'm fine with the movie not going there, but it's cool that is something that was from the comics.
There's a lot of things that, even if you don't read the comics and just watch the movie, you can interpret and figure out on your own.
Yeah,
And
there
that's
was
stuff that I
nowhere.
really love when you can just interpret stuff if you pay enough attention.
Yeah, there was nothing in this movie where I felt like this was stupid or I did not really understand what was happening, other than the one scene where I just wasn't sure about how they got captured, but then again, I was distracted, so I'm going to not pause it right away. So that was different. But other than that, I was like, okay. And I mean, I could have just scrolled back. I don't know. I didn't give a shit. I was like, okay, whatever. Movie, keep going. I got to get this over with. But I liked
Pulp
it.
movies got a pulp.
I'm fine with that. I mean, the stuff where he's about to open up the gates of hell because he's trying to save her, I think is also good. And I get that it's not in the comic, but I think it does kind of have that to where it gives a good reason for his wanting to be like, fuck, I don't care. I'll just kill you after you get done.
Oh, yeah. And of course, it's like a monolith, because why wouldn't it be?
yeah.
Monoliths are cool.
I'm fine with that.
And just the subtle hint of, it landed in 1908 in Russia. And it's like, it's the Tunguska event. That's what caused
I didn't put
it.
that together.
Wait,
That's
Tunguska
cool.
event? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
It's
there's like a giant crater in Russia, in Siberia, and nobody's ever really found out why, but something landed there.
Oh,
I thought they knew it was like just a meteorite that hit.
It was a large explosion of between 3 to 50 megatons that happened near the Tunguska River. Flattened an estimated 80 million trees over an 830 square mile range of forest. The explosion is generally attributed to a meteor airburst, but it's never been 100% confirmed.
There's an X-Files called Tunguska as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Very fitting.
Yeah, that's cool. I did not ever hear of this. And
Yeah, no, the Tunguska effect is used in a lot of sci-fi media.
okay. I mean, I do love that when sci-fi takes real events that we don't understand and puts them in there. It's like, oh, this is why this happened. Like, I do appreciate that and enjoy that a lot.
Totally.
I forgot the scene where he rescues the kittens in the subway. That is adorable, too.
I love that.
Yeah, that seems.
And he's like, give me a break, lady.
I just love the fact that one of the kittens, leans his head out of the box
Yes.
like, oh, are you kicking the monster's ass, man?
It's more like, is there food? Is there food? Does he got food? I'm hungry. He got food?
Can I eat
just-
that monster when you're done with it?
I just adopted a kitten, and I have 3 other cats. I've had multiple mini cats, and this little bastard just eats and eats and eats. Like, I will have, like, I was eating tacos a couple days ago, and he would climb on my desk, climb over me, put his little paw on my plate, scream at me, and I'm like, here, have some cheese, have food, go away. It just keeps eating. I'm just like, you are tiny. How much food can you fit in that tummy? But
He's a growing boy.
Oh God, he is. Like, he just. When we first got him, we had to feed him a couple different times because he'd be like a baby waking up in the middle of the night going, feed me. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? Yeah, that's what kittens are adorable. So
did any of you remember the scene from the trailer where it's at the end after the Cthulhu monster thing, whatever comes out of Rasputin, and Hellboy tells Myers to take care of Liz, and then Myers, I forget what Myers says, something like, what are you going to do? And he's like, how big can it be? Right? Like that line, how big can it be?
Giant tentacle snatches him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that from the trailer, and I was like, man, is it really from the trailer? And I went and hunted it down, and it's there.
Yeah, that's a problem nowadays, is that a lot of trailers have a lot of fake scenes in order to get you hyped up.
Yep.
or just
I hate that.
I do too. Like, don't show fake scenes if it's not in the movie. Don't put it in the trailer.
Well, okay, Infinity War and Endgame were the biggest uses of it, but that actually made sense. That was a 20 movie saga that was wrapping.
Are you talking about
up.
like the Hulk
The Marvel
Buster,
movies.
Right.
where Hulk is in the end, but he's not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
something
I think
like
some of that is they weren't done with the final cut
Yeah.
yet either. So
Like, there's
Yeah, but you don't want to spoil stuff for your epic finale.
hell no.
Well, like, there's a Funko Pop of Hulk busting out of the Hulk Buster from Endgame, and that is not, or is Infinity War, one of those, and that is not in the movie. I think it was originally, and then it got cut out.
yeah, it
Yeah, but
was.
that doesn't also help that Funko Pops like to leak a year before a movie comes out.
And Legos.
Yeah.
Two things which go off of each other. One of them is that scene was filmed. Like, I've seen footage of them actually having Mark Ruffalo argue with the Hulk inside the Hulk Buster, and even the whole scene was filmed with like fucking, what the fuck is her name? Scarlett Johansson, where Scarlett Johansson even walks up and does the whole sundown thing, and he's like, I don't need to do that anymore. And she's like, Bruce, and he's like, yep, we did it. And it was like a whole like 10-minute scene. They just cut it for some reason.
Well, they
Stupid.
thought it was like one thing too many for the end of
But
Infinity
that's
War,
such
so
an
they saved
important
it for
thing.
Endgame. But they just bring it. It just happens in that 5-year gap, and then in Endgame, he's already Professor Hulk, and he just is like, yeah, I merged the two. Then the movie moves on. I don't know. I think it works better this way, but sorry, what?
I said he's a poor version of Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
You are not the only person who thinks that. I think it's fine, but my co-host also is not
It's
a Professor
fine
Hulk
in an
fan.
MCU point of view, but like compared to what could have been,
Hey, anything that gets more Scarlett Johansson on screen, I'm 100% for.
god damn it.
There you go.
Put out there.
Also, one of the other things I think of too is we're talking about that scene in the trailer, but not here. They do cut trailers different from test audiences. So
Yes.
what I assume is that scene was in the movie, and then they show it to the test audience, and the test audience hated it, and so they cut it from the final cut of the movie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm imagining the monkey paw where Mike says, "Don't worry, Joe, I'll watch more anime," and the finger curls, and he watches the Scarlett Johansson version of Ghost of the Shell instead of
I've
any
seen
other
that
version.
in
God
theaters.
damn it.
Of course I did. Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Of course
I
you
don't think you
did.
understand how much I like that actress.
There's also nothing wrong with that movie either.
I like that movie. I've never seen the anime, unfortunately.
You should watch the anime.
Well, someone
movie
could have
is
put it
really
on a
good.
poll when I let him choose the Patreon poll, but he did not. So, hey.
Well, we're doing movies first. I need to get him to fucking succumb to a good movie.
And that's why you put 3 Satoshi Kon movies on there.
Exactly why I put 3 Satoshi.
Because he only has good things.
Hey, we did Dragon Ball Brawly. Doesn't that count as an anime movie?
Yeah, and that movie rules.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it was awesome. You guys should have all watched Super before you talked about that movie, but that's for another.
Probably.
No, 'cause
I'm watching
Super's
Super
next.
now.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Super
I'm watching
is what it is, but like you know.
Oh, I'm thinking about superhero. Never mind.
Yeah, and like Super.
Yeah.
It's hot garbage. Holy moly.
That's what I've heard from one other person, but we'll find out when I get there. So, all right. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say. Anything else you guys want to say about this movie that we haven't? I mean, besides there's the ending where he fights the giant beast. It was good. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another comic thing.
That
Because
whole thing
in
with
the-
the sword kills me though. Like he just grabs a stone sword that's somehow sharp enough to cut through those tentacles. No chance.
Don't worry, stuff like that's consistent with the comic.
Yeah.
Just finding a random blood object and beating the hell out of things.
Why not?
But
I'll take it.
So in the movie version, every time Rasputin dies, he comes back a little bit more Lovecraftian horror and less human. That's how they word it. The statue that he's chilling with in the Antarctic is one of those Agju Jihad babies, and it looks exactly like the thing that Rasputin turns into. So that was their way of still connecting it to the comics.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
Weird.
I like the way he kills it by having the whole grenade and he gets eaten and then the grenades explode because he's, doesn't get hurt by fire.
Yeah, I mean his power
And
is
he goes,
basically
"This is gonna hurt."
indestructible, right? Because we see him fight
Yes
do
and
things
no.
throughout the movie, but he's not that skilled at anything aside from getting up after getting hit every single time.
Yeah, he's got really high endurance, but we see Cronin slice him up a little bit. He
was bleeding at one
Swings his-
point.
Yeah, he cuts.
he gets a scar on the nose, which means stuff like bullets could still pierce his skin. And I mean, he's a physical being. He might be a half demon, but he's still got a heart and everything. You can kill him.
Okay, the scene with him slicing off the tentacles, I missed this a little bit earlier. This is damn cool.
with the sword.
I'm rewatching the movie as we're talking. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good movie. I did end up buying this on Amazon Prime, so I can watch this again at some point.
This is on my shelf. I have
Spoiler.
physical for read the movies.
I don't buy a lot of physical movies. I got rid of a bunch at one point. I was like, I just don't care.
Yeah,
I
no, to hell
don't
with that.
anymore.
Streaming services will get rid of stuff.
Yeah. I don't buy physical movies much anymore, but this is one I do own on Blu-ray.
Hell yeah.
I did buy Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Big Trouble in Little China on Blu-ray, but that's two of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there are certain movies I own and movies my wife really likes will buy, like Baby the Dinosaur, which is a movie that we
I
own
have
on
seen
DVD.
The hell?
I've seen that. Yeah, it's got the guy, the Greatest American Hero, and it's like this baby brontosaurus.
Yep.
I don't remember much about it, but I do remember seeing that as a kid. Yeah,
6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That sounds
is
right.
amazing.
sounds right.
Nice.
And the worst movie we own on DVD that we ever bought because she wanted it was Garbage Pail Kids.
Why did you buy Garbage Pail Kids? What
Because
the
there's no other way to watch it, and my wife wanted to watch it, so now we own it, and it is a complete piece of shit.
Yes, that is accurate.
Right there in the name.
Garbage.
No, it's awful, but it's terrible. I really do like when they kiss in the end scene here, and she lights on fire, then because he's resistant to fire. I think this is a good ending, and this works well.
So two times that media has lied, and I don't know why. If I had a nickel every time media was lied to about fire, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's very specifically weird that it's happened only twice. And so whenever they're making out, you had the first scene earlier where she ends up blowing everything up and it's red fire, and then you end up having her make out with him.
It was blue fire.
And it's blue.
Always been
Blue fire.
Is it always blue fire? Okay.
It's
In
never
this
mind.
movie, you're confusing it with the second movie.
The second movie, okay. Because Ghost Rider also does that, where it's like, oh, when he's regular Ghost Rider, it's red fire, but when he's nice to his girlfriend, it's blue. It's like, y'all know blue's harder than red, right? Like,
I was just
that's
going to
not how
ask.
that
I
works.
appreciate
The Ghost
that
Rider
nitpick.
movies do explain it in the
Yeah,
second
same.
one, and it's It's a silly thing.
I don't remember the second one.
The spirit of vengeance is actually an angel that loses.
Are you talking about the second Ghost Rider movie?
Yes.
I've seen that movie once in theaters. All I remember is him pissing fire, and I have never seen that movie a second time, nor do I plan to.
I have also only seen the movie once.
The spirit was an angel, so that's why it's blue flame.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, so it's silly. Also, if I had a nickel for every time Joe or I made it every time I had a nickel joke, I'd probably be richer than Elon Musk.
Hey, you guys have
We make that joke a lot.
We do, yes. It's a thing now in this podcast. Anything you guys want to mention else about Hellboy that we didn't bring up?
Yeah, another
Fillmore the comic.
Another pretty touching moment that I thought. I know that earlier I complained about Jeffrey Tambor's attitude towards Hellboy. I did really like the scene right after they kill Homeboy when he shows him how to light a cigar the real way, which also was a great 2004 nod to this movie. They are always smoking in this movie. That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoke in the comic, I don't remember as much. Drinking, sure, but the smoking, that's new. Is that some weird thing that movies can and can't do? Do you get a higher rating if you drink more in a movie than smoke?
Yes.
I believe, yeah.
That's so dumb.
Especially in the earlier, there's been a lot of smoking featured in movies. It's kind of gone away.
Yeah, okay.
It was pretty popular.
So that must be it then, because
smoking's cool.
Well, no, I'm just thinking the movie board, whoever does the ratings, has the most insane rules possible. One F-bomb makes it a PG-13 instantly, unless you can say shit 100,000 times and be G-rated. Look at Back to the Future, look at Beetlejuice, which I think nowadays is an R, but back then was a PG. So it's just with all these insane rules, they might have had to tone down his drinking and instead make it smoking because the board would have gone, oh, he drinks too much. This is an R.
I'm not saying that you're not correct, but to me, that makes no fucking sense because it'd be way easier to be.
Rules don't make sense.
I know, but wouldn't it be way easier to tell your kid, oh, he's drinking apple juice, right? You can't be that's candy cigars.
Besides the 1 6-pack he takes, I think the majority of the movie, the one time you see him drinking is with the kid and he's just drinking a glass of milk.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was cute. I've got nothing else.
I don't have anything else either.
Nothing.
Yeah, pretty much here. Same here.
All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box and let's start off with Phoebe.
I mean, this is on my shelf. This is such a fun, happy movie. Every time I watch it, it makes me smile. You can't go wrong with some good pulpy action flicks.
No, I agree. And Kyle.
Yeah, this is going on my shelf. I mean, I came on the episode because I like this movie, so it holds up surprisingly well.
Yep.
All right, and Zach.
Yeah, Ron Perlman can do no wrong. Guillermo del Toro rarely does any wrong, and this ain't wrong. So this one's absolutely shelf-worthy to me. It is on my shelf.
All right. And Joe.
One thing that I can think of we didn't talk about, so I'll say it now.
Sure.
Real quick. This movie's 90% practical effects, and I think this movie deserves a high praise for that as well.
Yeah, Samael, the suit looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yep. This whole movie, any practical effect they use is absolutely fantastic and perfect. So yeah, obviously this is a high shelf as well. So.
All right. And I'll go last. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I had a really good time. I really enjoyed this movie. This is very much a Mike movie. And I can't believe Mike never saw it until this week, today. I really am surprised. And now I'm actually curious for the first time in my life to see Hellboy 2.
Hell yes.
I can't say it's going to happen anytime soon.
Low expectations.
I mean, not much.
That's actually a solid movie.
I think I would agree with you if I had not had high expectations for it.
Okay. Fair.
Good movie, good movie, bad sequel.
Yeah, I'm with Joe on that.
Probably
you know what? Yeah.
I don't know. Some Blair's got short hair and she looks pretty hot, so I'm interested. But
that's all it takes.
It doesn't take a whole lot sometimes. All right, I'll give a movie a chance. I mean, I've watched a lot of movies. Kate Beckinsale's another actress where I'm kind of just okay, I'm in. So that's why I really like Serendipity.
A bad movie with her.
Which also makes sense.
Not a good movie.
Around the exact same time as Underworld.
I like Underworld a lot, if you can believe that.
I've never seen
Absolutely, the first 3 movies at the very least, then it started to peter out.
Never seen past 2, I don't think, unfortunately. I own the whole set on DVD that I bought at Black Friday at Walmart back when Walmart had Black Friday DVD sales. But I've never... We were supposed to get to them in this podcast. I said once we finish Resident Evil, we were going to do those, and we still haven't wrapped up Resident Evil yet. So, I'm working
We've got like 2 more movies.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, there's definitely a chance. Once those are done, then Underworld starts. So, I just need to get those 2 done.
I've never seen a single Underworld movie.
Watch the first 2.
Yeah, for sure. The first one is worth seeing. I don't remember most of the rest of the other one.
I don't either.
I just remember at one point they got Rona Mitra, who looks exactly like Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, they replaced her?
I think she didn't want to do a movie, and so she sat one out. But it's a different character, but it looks just like her, and it might as well be the same character.
I think that's
and then
the
she
third
came back
movie.
for the one. Yeah, and then she came back for the 4th one, I think.
She's in 4 and 5.
Yeah, there's 5.
There's 5 of these.
Jesus.
Yeah, there are 5 of these goddamn movies, and anything past 2 is not needed. Well, I get 3 makes sense because it explains why the Lycans are in war with the vampires, but everything else afterwards is just like a.
By the way, there's not 5. There's 6.
Are there 6? Oh my god! Oh my god!
2003, 2006, 9, 2011, 2012, 2016.
Oh yeah, they really
LMAO.
hit their stride.
Mm-hmm. I've only seen I've seen the first 2, definitely. I remember the third one, Rise of the Lycans, and I didn't get around to that. So someday. But all right, I think we said everything I'm supposed to say. Oh, I did forget to say this was a Patreon voted episode. So the reason why we finally covered this was because thanks to Patreon. So if you want to vote in the polls, join our Patreon. Little as $1. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. So I'm always trying to do new polls, and you get some stuff that shows those Patreon polls. If you don't vote for it, it might never come back for a very long time. There's been a lot of things that have been on polls that I have no interest in doing. I just put them on a poll, see if it wins. If it doesn't, then we move on. So
Yay!
sometimes weird shit wins too.
Our current poll has one that I submitted to Mike, where it's what's his name, Phoebe?
Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon, 3 Satoshi Kon movies, and for some reason Summer Wars. I need a 4th movie. So if you really fuck me over, go vote for that Summer Wars movie.
Why didn't you just go with Memories or do Paranoia Agent's enough of a mini series, and he had a movie.
I am not.
He has 4 movies.
I am not. I am not picking. I'm not picking making Mike watch a 4-hour murder mystery. And
don't worry, Mike won't.
Yeah, not yet.
I mean, you could have done Millennium Actress.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen 2 of the things on the list. I've seen Paprika and I've seen Summer Wars.
Okay. Well, there's some polls to go vote in, so you will go see that in the show notes. And Zach, where can we find you at?
Absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. If you Google that, you'll find it. Hopefully Mike puts a link in the show notes. And Mike's pretty good about that. We are going through the MCU movies and ranking them as we go, as well as discussing them. We started doing some MCU adjacent movies too, and Mike will be interested to know that we just covered Lucy.
I heard it did not end well for you.
It's a bad movie, but it was a lot of fun to cover. And then we got Black Widow dropping next. So
nice. That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
movie.
It was a very nice palate cleanser after Lucy.
Is Lucy the movie where she turns into a USB drive at the end?
Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly
That's the movie.
That was my note. My first note was like, the only thing I remember about this is she turns into a USB drive at the end.
I saw that movie in theaters.
Yeah, so I think I would have walked out if I'd seen it in the theater.
I liked it in theaters. But I only saw it once.
It's rough. It's rough.
I mean, hey, I liked Rise of Skywalker in theaters, and I cried happy tears at the end of that movie. Then I rewatched it, then I cried sad, angry tears. So I mean, whatever. There's something about the theater experience where the movie is better.
All right, well, maybe I should have seen it in the theater.
It's like going to a concert. The band might suck, but you're going to have a great time.
That's fair.
And Phoebe, where can we find you at?
Hi, I'm the Let's Play Princess. You can find me on YouTube, currently playing a shit ton of RPGs. Find me on Twitch if my internet ever decides to not be a piece of crap. And you can find me as one of the co-hosts of Nerds of Broadcast.
It's a good podcast.
Thank you.
It is. And I'm on an episode too.
You are on an episode, and so is Zach.
I just embarrassed myself on that episode.
You're fine. We all had fun. That's what's important.
It was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
Hanging out with people, because in real life you can't hang out with people. That is the magic of podcasting.
Totally.
So true.
Oh, right. And if you enjoyed this episode, over 750 other episodes of this podcast, you can find everything we do on Podbean. We do movies, comics, TV shows, all sorts of crap. Go check out our giant catalog. if you want to support the show, as I said a little bit ago, we have Patreon for $1. Please vote in our Patreon polls. And you can join our Discord for free. We're always happy to have new people join us. If you want to be on the show, if you want to suggest things for the show that I will eventually get to, like this, that was suggested in 2023 by Phoebe, by the way, in October. So I will get to stuff eventually.
In 2023?
Yes, as far as I can figure out. So, yeah, that's when... So I do get to stuff eventually. I really didn't do any of the Discord suggestions, and now I'm trying, like, that's the whole 2025 goal is there's always, every month it's going to have a Discord suggestion poll from people who had suggested stuff from before. I'm going to try to work in at least everything to run through the poll, much as I can.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot
we'll
of
see what wins. We'll see when Spooktober comes what I do, but I'm going to do my best to try to make sure I get some of these things that people suggested out of the way. So you'll see a bunch of that content. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at HellHaster. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out and give a shout out to Bill Tucker at Gamer Looks at 40. He is back. He's doing Final Fantasy 7 movies, or Final Fantasy 7 games, or current game. Check that out. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, audio only. Rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast, please. Helps the algorithm a lot. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Nora.